Balcony solar just became legal in 8 U.S. states, and the permission you never knew you had was waiting beside it the whole time. In March of 2025, Utah signed a bill that did something quietly unusual. It reclassified a household solar panel, under a certain size, as an appliance rather than a construction project, part of a growing movement around plug-in solar, sometimes called balcony solar, that would spread to 8 states within 18 months. House Bill 340 passed with unanimous bipartisan support. And once it took effect that May, a resident could buy a small solar kit, plug it into a wall outlet, and generate electricity without an interconnection agreement, without utility approval, and without a fee. No permit, no electrician, provided the system stayed under 1,200 watts and carried the right certification, specifically certification from a nationally recognized testing laboratory, or NRTL, the legal designation written into most of these state bills. The thing itself was not new. Plug-in solar kits, sometimes called balcony solar, had existed for years. What was new was the paperwork disappearing. Utah was first, but not alone for long. In April of 2026, Maine and Virginia signed their own versions into law, each setting a 1,200-watt ceiling. Maine's law went further, splitting the rules into 2 tiers. A system generating 420 watts or less needed no electrician and no utility notification at all. Anything above that, up to the 1,200-watt cap, required a licensed electrician to install. The law took effect in July of 2026. Then Colorado, on the 7th of May, raising the ceiling again to 1,920 watts under House Bill 2610-07, and adding a line that stopped homeowners' associations from interfering with a resident's right to generate their own power. By the start of July, a tracker maintained by Plug-in Solar Hub counted 8 states with signed legislation: Colorado, Maine, Maryland, Utah, Virginia, Connecticut, Vermont, and New Hampshire. Connecticut's governor, Ned Lamont, signed a broader energy bill in June that folds in balcony solar rules effective in October. New Hampshire's governor signed hers in the first days of July, according to reporting out of Concord. New York's legislature passed its own version, the Solar Up Now New York Act, and sent it to the governor's desk, still awaiting a signature as of this recording. New Jersey's 2 legislative chambers approved a companion bill within days of each other. Massachusetts folded a plug-in solar provision into a wide energy bill that cleared its state Senate on the 1st of July. California's version, Senate Bill 868, cleared committee on an 18-0 vote and was heading toward a full assembly vote. None of this would have moved as fast as it did without a piece of testing infrastructure most people will never hear about. Early in 2026, the safety certification body UL Solutions introduced a dedicated standard, UL 3700, built specifically for plug-in photovoltaic equipment. UL 3700 draws on IEE 1547, 2018, the underlying interconnection standard, and requires that every certified device include anti-islanding protection, the mechanism that shuts a system down if the grid goes offline, preventing backfeed, which is the term utilities use for power flowing back through a circuit in the wrong direction. Before UL 3700 existed, a lawmaker proposing to waive interconnection review had no independent way to say the equipment was safe. Once it existed, that objection mostly went away, and the bills that had been stalled started moving through committee. There's a detail buried in most of these bills worth sitting with. It isn't only about the panels. Several of the state laws explicitly bar landlords from stopping a tenant from installing one, and bar homeowners associations and condo boards from doing the same, with some allowance left for reasonable restrictions on size and placement. A few go as far as prohibiting a city or town from requiring a permit at all. Washington State tried to pass something similar and had the balcony solar language stripped out before the final vote, one of 11 states where the same push failed this session under pressure from utilities and labor groups. So it isn't universal. But in 8 states now, and likely more by the end of the year, the legal question of who controls a rented balcony has shifted, at least for one category of thing a person might put on it. Germany got here first, in its own way. By the middle of 2025, the country had just under 976,000 officially registered balcony solar systems, and people who track the industry there think the real number, counting the ones nobody bothered to register, is already past 1 million. It took Germany the better part of a decade to get there. The American version of this is trying to compress that timeline into a couple of legislative sessions, borrowing the German framework nearly wholesale, down to the wattage caps. Here's the part that's easy to miss if you're only watching the solar story. While all of this was happening in state capitals, nobody was passing a law to let someone grow tomatoes on a balcony. Nobody needed to. It was never illegal in the first place. Container gardening, growing food in pots, raised planters, or 5-gallon buckets on a rented balcony has never required a permit, an interconnection agreement, or utility approval. Urban agriculture in small spaces, balcony farming with herbs and peppers and cherry tomatoes, exists in a completely different legal category from everything the solar movement just spent 18 months fighting for. A renter with 6 square feet of railing and a 5-gallon container has had, this whole time, the same freedom from permits and utility paperwork that a solar panel just spent 1.5 years fighting for legislature by legislature. The permission already existed. It just never got framed as a right worth naming, so most people never noticed they were sitting on it, and there wasn't a lobbying fight or a bill number attached to remind them. What's changing now isn't the legality of growing food in a pot. It's the visibility of the balcony itself as something worth taking seriously, and that visibility is arriving through the solar conversation, not the gardening one. A renter reading about Colorado's Homeowners Association restrictions this spring, or New Hampshire's signature this month, is being introduced, maybe for the first time, to the idea that the 6-by-3-foot slab outside their kitchen window is legally theirs to use for something productive, and that lawmakers in 8 states have now said so in writing. Balcony gardeners have had this right all along. No bill, no permit, no utility approval needed to grow food on a rented balcony. The solar panel just got the headline the tomato plant never needed. In Denver this summer, and in Portland, Maine, and in towns across Connecticut, people are putting solar panels on the same railings where they've already got peppers or herbs growing in containers, doing on one stretch of railing what used to take 2 separate arguments about who owns the right to that space. Nobody had to pass a bill for the second half of that arrangement. It was already there, waiting to be noticed.